This is what we're doing today. We're making a woven mandala like this one. Beautiful, right? It's based on a Mexican weaving style, which is on the 4 sticks, like this bit in the middle here, which is a symbol. I think they're related to religion. That was created by the, oh god, I've just looked it all up and now I've forgotten all my facts. Indigenous Mexicans tribes did these weavings, like the little bit in the middle here, but this is a sort of more complicated, using the same style but more complicated creation based on that style of weaving. So yeah, look it up if you want to know the history behind the bit in the middle, known as the God's Eye. But what we're doing today is a bit different and a bit more wild. So I hope you're looking forward to joining me for it. Also hope the lighting's okay. I'm not used to it being sunny outside. Yeah, I don't know what to do when it's sunny. Just checking I've got all my tools in front of me. So you need 4 sticks. I'm using wires, which are quite good. It's definitely worth using wires if you've got them, but you need like quite a thick, sturdy wire. Oh, morning, Lynn. Oh, there's some people arriving. I'm just going to share the link, if you just give me a minute. Yeah, so thick, sturdy wires. I have got kits available for this workshop. So it comes with these lovely cotton-coated, thick, sturdy wires. And you're also going to need a selection of wools to do your weaving. Again, if you've got the kit, then you're all covered. If you haven't, that is also not a problem. You just need 4 sticks and a selection of wools. And get started in just a minute. Can anyone else hear that tap dripping? I'm going to have to go and sort that out. That's going to drive me crazy. Share now. Oh, that's not the kind of sharing I wanted to do. More options. I swear every time I use Facebook it's harder to find what I want to do. Here we go though, I've cracked it. Right. So I've shared that to the group, the Get Creative free online workshop group. People can find it, but if you want to join that group you can, if you'd like to know about other workshops I'm doing and just lots of creative ideas, and it's a nice community to share things with. I'm just going to stop the tap dripping, get a pair of scissors, and I'll be right back and we'll get started. So get your kits out, get your wools ready, get your sticks ready, get a cup of tea and we'll get going. Okay, and I'm back. Right, so you're going to start off with 2 of your sticks and you're going to start off with your middle colour. So the middle colour at the front, so bright blue on this one. You choose the colour that you want to. I'm not going to tell you what colours to use because I want these all to be different and beautiful and unique. So you use whatever colour you want. I'm thinking I'm going to make a rainbow one today to mix it up a bit. So I'm going to start with red in my middle. So you start with 2 sticks and you work out where the middle is. You can measure it if you want. I'm not going to. I'm going to show you a little trick for measuring it. You start off by tying those sticks together. Just a simple knot. Just wrap it around once and put a knot in. And then you can just twist the sticks round and you will see how close you got to the middle, because when you twist them round you'll see how much is sticking up at either end. So then you will know you can sort of push one down until they've got the same amount roughly sticking out both ends, and then turn it back round, and you should be level at top and bottom. So you can flip it around like that, and you should be level at top and bottom, and flip it around the other way, and likewise level at top and bottom. Okay, so now we just need to make those sticks a bit more secure. So I just wrap that wool around those sticks together a couple more times, and then I would tie it off with that end. Now you want to leave 2 nice long ends here for yourself, or you'll be sorry. So when I say long, about 3 inches long, your ends, so just give that a cut. I've got 2 sticks tied together with my ends hanging down. Then you're going to open the sticks up so they're in a cross shape like that. And this is the part of the weaving that is the easiest part, and it's also, so it's a good part to learn on, because it's the same, we're going to be using the same tension, we're going to be using the same going from top to top, all through the different patterns of weaving we're going to do. So I would say if you struggle with doing this weave here, just stick with it. Maybe do one that's just a square traditional God's eye, and then you can always undo it and reuse the sticks to do a fancier one. But if you can't get this kind of weaving right, you're going to really struggle when we get onto the more complicated weavings. So definitely this is the one to practice to get it right. So at the moment your sticks are only tied one way across. So you're going to put your next bit of wool diagonally across the tie you've got. You can leave another tail sticking out with those 2 tails you've already got. And you're just going to wrap the wool through that gap a few times just to get it nice and secure. And then you are going to use one of them ends and tie it off. And what you should have now is a fairly sturdy cross shape, like a little bit of wiggle, but it's not going to suddenly go flat or anything on you. Should be okay. Oh, I was thinking it's going to be a quiet workshop this morning because everyone's going to be out enjoying the sunshine. I mean, I don't know if it's sunny where you are, but in Leicester it is glorious. So I'm actually quite pleased I'm going to have a quiet workshop this morning, because I like to think of you all in the sunshine. And I know you'll watch it on catch up, because loads of you have bought kits, so you're gonna have to use them, aren't you? Okay, so we're gonna get started. So we've got our long wool that's attached to our ball. We've got our little ends sticking out the back. There will be a back and a front to this. Let me just show you. So front, beautiful. Back, all right, bit of a mess. Very sunny in Hull. Yeah, such a nice day. About time, do some sunshine, definitely. So you're going to take your wool up to your front. So your ends are at your back, your front is at the front. Oh, morning, Steve. You're going to, is it sunny where you are? You're going to go over one stick, round the next stick. So each time, and you're working your way around each stick, so you're going from one to the other, you go around the top, all the way around the stick, and bring it back up. And then you go to the next stick. You go over the top, all the way around, and bring it across. You go all the way around the stick. Oh, lovely Birmingham. So I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to get in for a close-up because this is the bit to get right. So you're going to your stick, you go around your stick, front to back to the front, and then over to the next stick, and you're on the top. You go around the stick and then over to the next stick and staying on the top. If you're on the group, if you're on the Get Creative free online workshop group, I will post some diagrams of how to do this, because I think it can probably not show up that well on camera. So I'll keep using my words to explain it. and check out the diagrams on the group, maybe now if you're rewatching it and you're like, what's she doing? But you'll get the hang of it. You're just going over to the top of the stick, you go round the stick, and then you go over to the top. And it creates this like flat surface on the front of your weaving. That's the idea, to get this like flat surface. And then on the bottom of your weaving, it creates you've just got it wrapped around the sticks. So that's the aim. So you go over to the top of your stick, wrap it around the stick, and then over the next one. So you're going to the far side of your stick. So it's on the top and it's the far side, then you go all the way around the stick and then back over to the next stick to the far side, all the way around and over to the next stick and the far side. And if you've got that, if you know how to do this already, or you're like totally get what I'm saying straight away, that's great. But I know some people will struggle, so I'm just going to keep repeating myself. I hope you don't mind. So you're going over to the far side of the stick, you wrap it round the stick, and you go over to the next one. Oh my God, that tap's still dripping. I need to get out. You go to the far side of the stick, you wrap it round the stick, you come up to the top, and you go over to the next stick, to the far side. You wrap it all the way around the stick, and you go over to the next stick on the top, wrap it all the way around, and go over to the next stick. And I think it works quite well holding the wool in one hand and your frame in the other, and then you're just turning the frame and the wool together as you go around. But I also think that that's a personal preference. If you want to, I mean, you can find different ways to do it that might suit you a bit better. And I'll just do another close-up because you can see a bit more of my weaving now. I'm going to make 2 of these so you'll get a good idea as we go along. You see we've got the flat side, that's the top, and then at the back we've got these we've got our loose bits in the middle, and we've got these 4 wrapped sticks, and that's the aesthetic we are going for. It's not the one you have to go for, but it's what we're going for today. Okay, so I'll just do another close-up demonstration of the weaving. So you go around the stick, across the top, around the stick. That's a bit easier to see now. I've woven off a bit of the knit from the middle. Over the stick to the far side, all the way around the stick, and across to the next one. Oh, standing like this is killing my back. Around the stick, over to the next one, and around the stick. Okay, so you're going to keep doing that until you're happy that you are doing a good job of it. Like I said, you can always undo this stage and redo it, but when we get on to the more complicated weaves, you're going to regret it if you don't feel like you've got the tension right or the sort of style of weaving right. So I would just keep practicing with the 4 sticks, because once you get on to 8 sticks, it don't get any easier. And make sure you're happy. Also, with this middle bit, you do want to make it relatively big. I think I made mine, it's just once round. That stick I tried to go twice round, so watch out for that. It's not a big problem if you go twice round your sticks, but it starts to get a bit untidy, so once round the stick is ideal. You also want to watch out for it becoming a bit uneven. If you put more tension, there's a possibility that it will start to become, instead of being square, which is what you want, it will become a diamond shape. If your tension is tighter in some places and looser in others. So it's just worth watching out for and just making sure that your tension stays fairly even. You know, it's that perfect tension you're looking for. With any project that involves yarn or string, to be honest, you want it to be like not too tight, not too loose. And you can only really learn that by practicing, so enjoy. It's not something I can teach you, and especially not through video. So you've got to practice. And then one day you'll get that tension just so, and you'll be like, nailed it. Okay, so I think I'm getting on to having done enough of my red. I'm going to add on another colour now, so show you how to do that. There's a couple of ways to add on another colour. In a situation like this, I'm going to use, I'm just going to nos it on. So I'm going to cut my wool. So I've got a little bit to tie it onto. I'm going to choose my next colour. I think I'm going to have a bit of brown. I mean, it's going to be a non-traditional rainbow, this. That's my plan. Non-traditional rainbow. If you're not using rainbow colours, think about using colours that maybe contrast strongly together, so bright colours and dark colours, really get the highlights and the lowlights. You want to tie these bits of wool together. You're just going to use a normal knot, and you're going to try and get the knot quite close to the stick, to the bottom of the stick, so the underneath of your weaving, because we'll just hide this knot at the back. It's a classic technique, isn't it? Can't really beat it. I've not done a good job of hiding that at the back. I'm just going to redo that. Oh well. You can also hide it in the weaving as you go around, but it looks a little bit better if it's hidden behind one of your sticks. So see what you can do. Okay, there we go. So there we go, I've got my knot behind my stick. I'll show you, I'll do a close-up for you. I need a smaller table so I can get these close-ups in, but I think you can see that there. I've got my two knotted ends together behind my stick. And then you can trim those right down. You don't need those ends for anything. And they will hopefully entirely disappear as your weaving goes on. So I'm going to use this nice brown wool, and I think different textures are nice as well. So if you've got a kit, you'll have noticed there's different textured yarns. So I've gone from like a polyester yarn to a nice cotton yarn, and I think those different textures really add a depth to the weaving. Like I said, we want to be starting off this square in the middle. We want to do a reasonable size square. It can be as big as you want, it's just an aesthetic thing. You can make it really small if you want, but I think they're a little bit easier to get together if they're a bit bigger. Because I just tried this morning putting one together with a small square, and it absolutely did my head in. So, so be warned, bigger square, maybe a little bit less stressful. So I'm just going to do a small outline of the brown to kind of frame it, and I think that's, oh, that one's 4. So you can count if you want to, or just do it by eye. But I'm gonna end on the one I started on, and I'm probably going to just finish it off, just cut myself a little end, and you will be wrapping around this post in a minute, so we can lose that end. I'm just going to tie it for the moment, tie it around that, I don't know what to call them, sticks, obviously. Tie it around that stick. This cotton covered wire is really nice because the wool kind of grips to it. Like, you could use any kind of wire, but I kind of bought this stuff on accident. It's actually, it's a milliner wire. But yeah, it works really, really great for all these different craft projects I'm doing, because it works really well for anything that you kind of want to be a bit grippy. So we're going to start on number 2. So we're going to make 2 of these little squares. Doing good for time. I think we'll get on to doing some of the other weaving real soon. I hope. Let's see how we go. Let's not get too optimistic. So I'm going to do this one in orange. And this one, you won't see most of this one. So actually this might be the one to start on if you're practicing, I say, half an hour into the video. But like I said, if you've practiced and you're not happy with it, do another one. So to start off with, you can cut your short bit of wool. You want to make sure you've got your dangly ends on this one as well. They are important. Wrap it around. Do that thing I showed you to make sure they're the same length. Twist your wires around. Push them so they've got the same, and then twist them back the other way. And you can do that a couple of times if you're not sure if it's working. So then you know that your wool is tied in basically the middle. Doesn't matter too much if it's not in the middle. You might just have uneven ends sticking out, or you might want to snip it with a pair of wire cutters when you're done. I don't know if we'll get the wool all the way to the very end in this video, but I hope so. I'm prepared to cheat to get there. Right, so wrapped it round, you tied that as two ends off. I'm just going to open it up. And this is actually something that's a bit important, which I did do in that one, but I didn't think to say. Is just make sure those two ends are on opposite sides of your cross, so they're coming out from different, diagonally different corners. There we go. Found all the words. So now get your big ball of wool and diagonally across that wrap, you're just going to wrap it around that cross to get that cross nice and secure. And you're going to tie that end off. So we've got, again, 3 little ends. At the back, and a big ball of wool at the front. Just give myself some bit of a feather stuck in it. How did that get there? Right, so you go around one stick and then across the next stick. We'll just go over this again. You're going around the top, the far side of the top, all the way around the stick, and then over to the next stick. The far side of the top, all the way around, and over to the next stick. Far side of the top, all the way around, and over to the next stick, all the way around, and over to the next stick, all the way around, and over to the next stick, all the way around, and over to the next stick. This one needs to be a bit bigger than the first one we did. You're going to wrap it all the way around and over to the far side of the next stick. Always going to the top, always going to the far side to create that flat woven surface on the top and the wrapped sticks at the back. Like I said, practice this stage as much as you need to, because it doesn't get, we're going to, I've done this wrong. Done this wrong. I'm so sorry. Okay, so what you need to do differently with this one from the first one. So we've only done a little bit, guys. We've only done a little bit, so we can undo it. It's cool. It's cool. I noticed before I needed to get a needle involved and redo it. So undo that weaving. And it's really simple. The mistake I made is these ends are, morning Emma, thanks for dropping by. These ends, the loose dangly ends, they need to be at the front. On this one, at the back. On the one that's going at the back, they need to be at the front. Okay? So we pull them all to the front and we weave around them. Whew. Complicated. I know. I'm also looking at my sticks thinking they aren't even. Like I said, it doesn't matter. I can just trim them later. But if you do think they aren't even, just give them a little wiggle around and try and make it so the top and the bottom are the same length. Like I said, you can get out a ruler, but that's not really my style. I'd much rather cut the ends off afterwards. Aw, thanks Emma. I feel well. I am glowing. That's what pregnant people say, isn't it? I'm glowing. I don't think I'm glowing. I think I'm just eating plenty of cake. So you're going to keep doing that weaving. Go over to the top, around your stick, over your next top, around your stick, over and around, over and around, and keep on going, over and around, over and around, over and around, over to the far side of the stick every time, all the way around the stick, and then over to the next one. The far side of the stick, all the way around. Watch that square, make sure it's not turning into a diamond and it's staying square. My tension's getting a bit dodged, so I can just check that. Make sure I'm not getting a diamond shape. It's very important to get a nice square, because when we join them together, you're really going to notice if it's not a square. I mean, it'll probably still look great. It'll just be a different style. And I would like to see that. So by all means, do it and send me a picture. Yeah, please do share photos of your weaving on the Get Creative free online workshop group. I need to see what you do. Keeps me inspired to come up with workshops. If I don't know what you do, I am not inspired. If you get in a total mess, again on the group, do message me. Any questions, I'm happy to help. I spend my whole time on Facebook. Shh, it's not embarrassing, it's totally fine, there's nothing else to do. Yeah, so I'm always up for answering questions about these craft projects. Yeah, so you're going around the stick, over to the next one, and you just keep on going around your stick, over to the next one. Make sure that bit of weaving is staying nice and square, over to your stick, all the way around, over to the next stick, all the way around. And we'll do another close-up of that. Going around the stick and over to the next one and around the stick, and over to the next one and around the stick, and over to the next one, far side every time around the stick. And you're creating this, like I said before, flat surface on the top. This is the bottom square, so we've got the dangly bits coming out the front. And at the back, you can see better because we haven't got the dangly bits. You get this lovely wrapped stick effect. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going for a bit. Oh, excuse me, a little burp. Nice. Goes on camera for posterity. So they're getting to be the same size, but this one that goes underneath, you want it to be a little bit bigger. You are welcome, Lynn. We can do another close-up if you want. I don't mind doing a few. So you're going around your stick, over to the next one, far side, around that stick, over to the next one, the far side, around that stick, over to the next one, around that stick, and over to the next one. And this is the bit to practice, getting tension. Make sure you get the tension on doing these squares, lovely, and you get it nice and even. And when you're getting these squares beautiful, then you can move on to the next stage, which I'm about to move on to any minute now. And it's where things start to get pretty and also kind of frustrating and complicated. So enjoy. Buckle up, guys. It's going to be emotional. So you want this square to be a little bit bigger. And then might need to go in for a close-up now, actually. Might have to, but you're going to attach them together like that. I'm going to re-angle the camera. I've enjoyed chatting with you, but I think it's time to have a bit of a close-up or you're going to totally miss out what I'm doing. Let's do this. Okay, let's get all the way down. I think that's enough of a close-up. I'll move my balls of wool out of the way a bit. So we've got our threads in the middle of the back of the front one and at the top of this one. And we're going to tie these together. So you should have them diagonally opposite sides of your wire, and the same with this bit, diagonally opposite sides. Ish. It doesn't matter too much. It's just hopefully that when you tie it together, it kind of ends up middly squared off-ish. So I'm just tying one of the reds to two of the oranges, and I'm just going to tighten that up as much as I can. Obviously this is a bit fiddly because it's happening in between your layers. So don't worry if it doesn't look very tidy at this point. That comes later. You could also get a wool needle. I thought about this and kind of sew these two together. I've seen some tutorials where people glue them together, but I think this is your nicest, tidiest homemade solution to just tie these ends together. However, the sewing together might work quite well and you might end up with quite a nice tight combination. So if I was going to sew them together, I might even get a new piece of wool and just stitch round the cross both at the front and then all the way to the back until I was sure that it was nice and secure. However, we've just done a lovely job of connecting these together just using those loose ends, so I don't think it's too necessary to do any sewing. So I'm just snipping off those ends that we've tied it all together with, and that's also to stop me from getting confused and confusing you guys, because that would be the worst. I really don't want to confuse you all. Carefully, I didn't snip through any other bits of wool, so that's essential to try and achieve. And I'm just thinking I'm going to finish up this orange and use a different colour so it stands out a bit more, and hopefully you will see more of what I'm doing. So I'm going to just do what I did before and just tie that orange off around the post. And I'm just going to lie it down there. And this is when it's really useful using wires instead of like a wooden stick, because you can start flattening them up. So you can bend these wires, the bottom wires can come up and the top wires can go down a bit. Whereas if you're using wooden sticks, they're just going to be very much on different levels, which looks all right. It's an aesthetic of its own, really. It depends what you're trying to achieve. So I'm gonna move on to some nice bright yellow now. I don't have loads of this yellow, so I'm just gonna see how I get on. Oh, that bit is very short. I'm maybe not gonna use that bit at all, but this bit's a bit longer. I'm gonna start off by, I think I'll just tie it onto this orange. I'm not going to tie it tightly though, because my idea is to lose this knot behind the main bit of the weaving. So maybe just a centimetre or so down. That's actually not tied very well, so I'm just going to pop an extra knot in there. Remember, you've got a front and a back here. Don't be afraid to use them. Put your knots at the back. When you make your third or fourth one, you can worry about making the back as beautiful as the front, but with this first one, I think really just get through it. Right, so what we're going to do first, and this is This is to start our next weave. So let me show you on this one. The next weave is this kind of this star shape that I've got going on. Okay. Okay. And to start that off, we're going to start off by just, and you're doing exactly the same thing, wrapping it top to bottom, but then instead of going along to the next one, we're going across the back to the one opposite, and we're wrapping it top to bottom. Okay, and then so we've done the two opposite each other, and then we're going to the one in the gap over here, and we're going around it top to bottom. Have I done that right? Doesn't matter too much at this point. Yeah, so top to bottom. And then it goes round to do the other end of itself. And you go, am I saying top to bottom when I mean bottom to top? I don't know. You're going across and then you're going all the way around the stick and then back underneath. Then you go across to the next one and you go all your way around the stick and back underneath. And you go over to this one and you go all the way around the stick and you go back underneath and you go over to this one and you go, I hope you can see what I'm doing, all the way around the stick and back underneath. And you'll notice they're not lining up very well yet, but we will work on that as we go all the way around the stick and back underneath. So I would show you the back now and say, oh, look at the back, we've done it just like that, but the back is going to be a bit of a mess at the moment. It comes out good as we keep going, you'll see. But what we've basically done is we've gone around one end of the stick, gone underneath, around the other end of the stick, moved onto the stick next to it, gone around that stick, then around the other end of that stick, moved onto the one next to it, around that one, moved on to the one next to it, gone around that one, and then moved on to the one next to it, around, and then we've finished. We've done each stick once, and that should start to hold your little square in place. So you can have a little wiggle round now. Make sure you get that so it's as even as you can hope for. Oh, thanks for dropping by, Rebecca. It's a really great project. It is going to make your brain hurt a little bit, but just stick with it. Yeah, so you want to have even amounts of orange of the underneath one poking out at the different sides of your square. So I'm just trying to pull that around, get it where I want it, and there will be opportunity to do a bit more of that later on. So next, we're going to start the star weaving now. And what we do is we go from this stick, we go under two sticks, over to this stick, we go around it, and then we go under two sticks. And this is really easy to mess up and just go under one, and you will regret it. So if you feel like you're messing it up, just get back on it and go under two. Look at the number of times you've wrapped around that stick. Make sure you haven't gone up to 3 and you will be all right until they've all done 2. I'm just going to chip off this little bit of brown wool because it's getting in my way. So you're going under the middle, under 2 sticks, over the top of your stick to the far side, all the way round. And if you've practiced doing your squares enough, this is going to come naturally to you with weaving in this style, is going over the top, all the way round and back under 2 sticks, all the way around the stick and back under 2 sticks, all the way around the stick and back under 2 sticks, all the way around the stick and back under 2 sticks, all the way around the stick and back under. Under 2 sticks, all the way around the stick and back under. Now, you can check if you're doing this right by looking at the back. I say that, mine still looks like a mess. It'll look tidier once I start a new colour, but because that first bit, it looks like a mess. So let's not look at the back. I mean, you can look at my back. Don't worry about it. So you go under 2 sticks, all the way around your stick, and then under 2 sticks, all the way around your stick, under 2 sticks, all the way around your stick, under 2 sticks, to the top, the far side of the top, all the way around and over to the next one. All the way around and over to the next one. So under 2 sticks, over to the next one, all the way around it. Under 2 sticks, over to the next one and all the way around it. Under 2 sticks, all the way around it. Under 2 sticks and all the way around it. Under 2 sticks and all the way around it. Okay, I'm about ready for another colour, I reckon. And it might be time for some green. Green time. This green. Yeah, so I'm going for quite a strong green here. But I think what I'm going to do is just have a little bit of it, because that can look really nice in your weaving pattern, just to have even a couple of rounds of just one colour. So do bear that in mind and keep thinking about that as you're going on. So what I might do for this one is tie it off in the middle back here. So we will lose the knot behind again, like I said to do before. Take advantage of your front and your back. The next one you do can be beautiful on both sides, but this one, let's just get through it together. Just going to trim those little ends on those bits of wool so they don't get tangled up with what I'm doing. And we should see a beautiful pattern emerge. We'll see at the back when I do this next colour. So you're going under 2 and then around that one. And it gets a bit easier as well when you change colour to see that you're going under 2 and around that one. So you can really start to see what I'm doing here, I think. Under 2, over the top, far side, all the way around and back over. So under the 2, over to the far side, all the way around and back over. So under 2, over to the far side, all the way around and back under. Under 2, all the way around and back under. Under 2, all the way around and back under. And you can really see how, oh, wait. I messed that one up. So you go on top, I went to the bottom. You will notice quite quickly when you make the mistakes. Oh, that's all right, Tracy. It's nice to see you. Good morning. I hope you're enjoying the sunshine. Around the top, underneath, back over to the other one. You go around the top, underneath, and then I'm going to do, so that one row of green, you see how, because it's such a strong contrasting colour, it looks great. So I recommend that, like using your pale colours and your dark colours next to each other. And I'm just going to do twice round. Once round does look good. Once round does look good, but twice round, they can get lost once round. So I would usually do, if I'm just doing a stripe of something, I'd usually do it at least twice round, because otherwise it can sometimes just get a bit buried. Three times round starts to become a bit of a chunk of colour. I'm going to dilute this with a paler green next. But I thought that contrasting colour looks really great against the yellow, and it does really jumps out. So you might want to just keep having a little flex of your sticks, trying to keep those gaps nice and even between them. So if you notice that one's sticking out farther, don't be afraid to just bend it in and make it sure you're happy with it. And notice when you make a mistake like I just made there, you're going to the top, not the bottom. Come on, Beth, you've done this before. And I've done 2 round everywhere. So now you can see, there's that pattern I was on about at the back. So you can really see that star forming at the back, which is in itself a great pattern. So you can look at these patterns you're making at the back and then in some ways at some point, you know, when you've done a bit more of this, incorporate these other patterns into your weaving at the front as well. So constantly learning, guys. That's the key to keeping creativity fun and flowing. So I'm going to go for just a slightly lighter green now, I think. So all that talk of contrast, and now I'm not going to contrast. But you know, it's my mandala. I'll do whatever I want. And I hope you will do the same. And I'll probably change my mind halfway through doing it. No, I'm joking. I'm going to stick with it. So I'm doing exactly the same thing. Weaving under 2, you come up to the top, you go around the stick, you go under 2, la 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 la, around the stick. Helps me remember what I'm doing if I say it out loud for you guys. Under 2, around the stick, under 2, far side, top to bottom, around the stick. Under 2, far side, top to bottom, around the stick. Under 2, far side, top to bottom, around the stick. Under 2, far side, top to bottom, around the stick. Under 2, far side, top to bottom, around the stick. Under 2, far side, top to bottom, around the stick. La la la, I need some music to set this to, this beautiful song I'm composing. Oh my gosh, we're nearly out of time, guys, and look how far we've got. Not very far. Oh well, that's okay. I'm just going to overrun a bit and then also maybe just show you how to finish it off with a little cheat. Well, not a cheat, but just show you how to finish it off before we actually get to the end. Because you can finish them off and make them smaller quite easily. And I'll show you how to do that. That's how we'll do it. That's how we'll make it not take hours and hours of our time. Okay, so I'm just enjoying this weave now, getting into the swing of it. Don't worry if you do mess it up and just go under 1, it's probably going to be fine. I'm sure I will have done it at some point in this weave. I've definitely done it in my other one. Just keep going, but just be aware to not do it get back to going under 2, because if you just go under 1, you will just be weaving around the same sticks and it will start to look rubbish. So you need to be going under 2 and you will get back on track. Okay, so I'm just going to go on to this pale colour now. Again, I'm going to hide that knot at the back. And I'm going to show you how to start doing. We're going to move on to a different weave now. Well, in a minute, I'm just going to do one, oh, maybe, like I said, two goes of this pale colour around the edge of this one. And then I will take it out to my extremities. So under 2, around your stick. This should be coming like something you can do in your sleep now. That's the idea anyway. Should be able to do this on autopilot. You'll get used to that, always going to the top, going all the way around, and then underneath, and then going to the top, all the way round, and underneath. And please do, like I said, practice the first bit making the square. Once you've got that square perfect in your for your middle bit, undo it, redo it, get that weaving for the square perfect, and then all of this is going to be so much easier for you. If you can't get that square in the middle perfect, you're going to really, really struggle when you start trying to do this. And I don't like the idea of you guys struggling when I'm so far away and I can't help you. So just get it so you're happy with your square in the middle. The kits to do this weave are on special offer at the moment. I'm going to leave them on special offer for a little bit longer for anyone who hasn't managed to get one. So if you want to get a kit to do this workshop, they are just £5 with a very reasonable postage charge. So please do order one, because it means that I can keep providing my wonderful workshops for free, and that's what I like to do. So it makes me happy, and I hope it makes you happy. Okay, so we're ready to start our next weave. We're going to start on this stick over here, and we're going to go around the stick, and then just, this is a nice easy one, I like this one, just across to the next stick, and it leaves this lovely gap. And you're doing exactly the same thing. You're going over to the stick, you go to the far side, and you go all the way around. Over to the stick, far side, all the way around. Over your stick, and just remember to have a little play around with these, flatten them out, make sure you're happy with the spaces between your wires. And this is where it's really useful using wires, because they're just that little bit more flexible than a stick. You know you're not going to snap them accidentally. Really nice, simple weave. Oh, I've run out of wool. Oh no, but I've got some more here. So like I said before, if you need to tie a new bit on, just maybe try and get it so the knot's at the back. But actually what I'm going to do here, because it's a really thin bit of weaving, so that knot won't be well hidden, this is another way to add on. So you just wrap that end down your pole, and you're going to have to pinch it in one hand, and you bring your wool up. So you start your new bit, so you're holding on to your old bit and your new bit, and you are starting the new bit weaving. And then when you get back round to that post, when you wrap it round that post, it should just hold it all securely in place, is the plan. Shall we see how we do? A bit annoying because I'd quite like to change colour, but I feel like I'm just going to have to go round a couple more times in this colour. But I mean, I do love this colour. Love a bit of aqua. Blue and green are my favourites, and when you mix them together, how can you go wrong, basically, is my opinion. Okay, so let's just do a really nice tight wrap over those two loose ends, and then that should hold them in place really nicely. They're nice and secure now. We could even trim them off if we want, or we can leave them there and continue to wrap over them if we don't feel they're as secure as we'd like. Okay, so we've got round to here, and I'm going to finish it off. And I'm also finishing off this weaving pattern now. I've just got a few more patterns I want to show you before we finish. Just try and work out if we've got time. We certainly do. Okay, so the next weaving pattern we're going to do. Oh, thanks, Lynn. You don't have to. You're always welcome to use your own materials, but if you can, it does make it easier for me to keep doing everything for free. So next we're going to go back to doing the square weaving. So we're going to be using every fourth stick like we did to do the square in the middle, but obviously we've got 8 sticks, so it all gets a bit more complicated. You'll see what I mean in just a minute. Just thinking about what colour I'm going to use next. I think a bit of grey, and I'm going to change the texture again. to knot it on because it would be a bit quicker. And so you think about using every fourth stick. So we're using every other stick is basically every fourth. I don't think fourth stick's actually the right thing to say. Every other stick is what you're using. So we're going from this one, we go over to this one, we go all the way around it, and we're going underneath the weave that we've already done. All the way around it and underneath. And I'm doing that last one wrong. Because you're still going to the top, Beth. Come on, get with it. You go to the top, you go to the far side, you go all the way around. You go across to the next one. You may have some little ends at this point getting in your way. Do feel free to either wrap them in or cut them off. I'm going to go with cutting them off because I want to get a shifty on. It often looks better if you do wrap them in. But, they are distracting, and I want to get this done and show you what I'm doing. So top over to that one, so every other one, and we create this square weave, which is what we want to do. And I don't know if you can see it yet, but you will. I mean, I've chosen a really pale colour, so you probably can't even see it at the back. I'm sorry. Should have gone for a darker colour. But I'll keep using my words to explain it, and it will all become clear. So you just go into every other stick, you go round from the far side, top to bottom, and you go round to the next one, far side, top to bottom, 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 far side, top to bottom. And if you notice these strings maybe aren't sitting as closely together, you can just gather them up. It's just because they're getting caught on the strings that are underneath them. Far side, top to bottom, la la la, far side, top to bottom. And keep going. Change colour if you want. That's up to you. It's your work, but the more you change colour, the more beautiful it's going to look, basically. So I change colour early and often, in my opinion. I'm probably not changing colour as much as I might normally, because obviously it slows you down, and I want this to be, I want to show you, I want to get it done. So I think you can probably start to see this grey poking out and creating the square underneath. That's what I'm weaving at the moment. So every other stick, top to bottom, going around. I can't do it. I can't keep going in just the one colour. I'm going to switch. So guys, I'm going to move on to some purple. Love a bit of purple. I think I'm going to now work my rainbow backwards, so go red to purple and then the other way, purple back to red. I think that'll look nice. I haven't tied that anywhere I'm happy with at all. Like I said, you can either, you can just try and tie that so it hides behind your stick. That's ideal. Or somewhere-ish behind your stick. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Over to the next one. So we're still working on that square, going on to every other one. I'm just going to do a small band of purple here, so that'll be a twoozer probably. Although an outside row is one of the few places where you can get away with just doing one as to make a small band of colour, because it's not going to get buried in the weave. because it's the edge of the weave, so it won't get buried. Right, so that's my 2 all the way round. And now what am I going to do? I'm going to do a square going the other way, so using the other 4 points. I'm going to trim off these little ends in the middle here. I want to continue using purple, so I'm going to use a little trick where I'm going to take the purple into the middle, I'm going to tie it to an end, and then I'm going to take it up to that one. Could just start it off new, but why bother? Like I said, there's a front and the back, so you take advantage of that fact. And there we go, and then we can start on this stick. And again, we're going all the way around, and this square is going underneath again. So we're creating an underneath square weave going around each alternative stick. I wish I brought over more colours of wool. I thought, oh, I've got loads, and now I feel like I don't have enough. Want some other colours. But we're nearly out of time, so I'm thinking I'm just going to show you, well, I think I've shown you most of the things. There's one other weave I wanted to cover, but I'm not sure if it's going to work in this design actually. Oh, every other stick, you go around to the top, over the front. And then when you've got these all to the same height again, then you can do that, that weave there again if you want. Go around all your sticks, which is quite nice to do a bit of that every now and then. And it kind of ties it all together, one of those. This might actually be a fairly good place to finish it off, so I'll just leave that one there. I'm just going to talk to you about a couple of the other weaves that I used in this one. Okay, so what did I do? So you can see that this one here is just that square weave that I showed you then. Then we've got a little bit of the, I don't know, octagon, I guess, 8 sides, octagon weave here. And then it's just got square weave behind it, and then more octagon weave at the top. What I want to show you is these little ones here, you see? And these ones are just created by, and I think you can tell quite easily from the back, just going from one stick to the other. And they're quite nice to use. So I use them with my square. So I put in a square here, and then instead of doing another square, I use my little cross weave to create these little points to take it out, so then I could do my octagon weave again, and that worked quite nicely, looked quite good. So that's one other option you have. Also, you see I've done my little octagon weave in the middle of my star here, and then kept going with the star design. So you can do that. That can be really nice to mix up the 2 weaves, so you have star, octagon, star, and then octagon. Do please correct me if it's not called an octagon. I am just making up words. So I think you see, I hope you see, I think that's everything you need to make one. I'm just going to show you how to finish it off without actually finishing it off, because I don't want to finish mine off yet, but I'll go over it. So in theory, you've woven to the end of your sticks now. So imagine you've woven all the way to the end of the sticks. And you should, like this one, leave yourself about 1 centimetre. And then what you do, you just wrap that centimetre in wool. And you can actually do this in the middle of your weave as well. So it's something to remember and think about. but you wrap that centimetre in wool and you wrap it back down in wool, and then you go around to the next stick and you wrap it up in wool, and you wrap it back down in wool, and then you go around to the next stick and you wrap it up in wool, right to the top, because especially if you're using one of these nice polyester wools, it really sticks lovely. Oh, I'm good, Susan. It's all right. You can watch it on the catch up. And is the sun shining in Scotland? I mean, the sun's shining so beautifully here. I would have forgotten, to be honest. I was nearly out the park. You go over to the next one and you wrap it all the way up and then all the way back down. And then you go over to the next one. And this is just how to finish it off. You wrap it all the way up to your top. And can you see? So what you can do, if you're struggling to wrap it all the way to the top, is you can wrap it up as high as you can, and then you can just use wire cutters, or if your wires are different sizes, to cut your wires down to where you've wrapped that wool. And if you want to, you can use a little bit of glue to seal them, to stop them coming off. Just a little bit of PVA or something. Doesn't have to be anything too fancy. But yeah, that's how you do it. Have some fun and try some different weaves. And there are other weaves you can do, like get a bit creative, because you can always undo them if you don't like them. You don't have to keep them if you don't like what you've done. So try it out, see what happens. Because I mean, I've seen people do all kinds of stuff where you then have ones like, you then take your weave and you cross it over in front of the weave you've done, and it can look really amazing. It just gets more and more complicated. Oh, I hate boilers. Little sunny, a little sun. Well, a little sun is better than no sun, isn't it? Yeah, if you want a bad time, boilers are the way to go. What was I saying? Yeah, you can try loads of different weaves. Oh my God, let me just put the camera up so I can talk to you properly. I was just gonna say, if you want to spend a really happy half hour, that's not up very high, go on Pinterest and look at woven mandalas. There's some absolute artists making these. They are so beautiful. And if you've got the basics that I've showed you here today, oh, I'm glad you like it, Emma. Yeah, if you get the basics that I've showed you here today, then you'll be able to see the patterns they've done and kind of try and work out how they've done them. And yeah, there's some really, really lovely stuff out there. So Pinterest, woven mandala. Maybe I'll post a link on the group, so look out for that. Because I love having a go at this stuff, but I am not, this isn't all I do. So I'm not like an expert, but some of these people, so talented, and they make huge ones as well. Beautiful. Yeah, have a go, try it out. Like I said, practice the square bit until it's perfect. You can always undo it and then move on to the rest of the weave. If you're struggling with getting it all in the right place, you could try sewing the middle together. And if you're doing it with kids, you could just keep them working on the square one, because I think that's a nice project to do with kids, just the square one. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I can tell you, but I'll be on the group later, so got any questions, give me a shout, and I'll probably finish this one up now, so you can look out for pictures of it. I'm gonna sit and have a little play with it now in the sunshine, I think. Next week we're doing the macrame rainbow, which is going to be really, 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 really nice. I'm going to put the kits on sale later today, so I'll put an announcement about that in the group. That's going to be a fun project. Again, it's going to be a longer than an hour project, but you all know how it works now. I'll show you how to do everything, and then you have to go away and figure it out. But yeah, it's not as complicated as it looks, and there's lots of ways you can kind of alter it to make it a little bit simpler or a little bit fancier, like this really. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I hope the sun is shining where you are and you get to go out in it and feel some sunshine on your face. That's my plan for the afternoon, and I will see you all again next week to do some macrame. Bye bye.